And just like Ruth had mentioned a lot about just cause, it's really hard to explain to some, because if someone says, you should have a just cause to evict me, ask me to leave, I mean, that has a good ring to it. Yeah, why shouldn't you have a just cause? But the thing they don't understand or take into consideration, when you have a gang member or a drug dealer or something, it's going to be almost impossible to get rid of that person, because nowadays, whereas in the past, as Ruth mentioned, a lot of things have changed over the years, and I think Bart and a lot of people can attest to the fact that things have changed. So, like now, when you doing a case like that, you actually have to have that person go into court and testify. And you have to think, how many of your tenants are going to go in and testify? Oh yeah, I know yeah, they selling drugs, and yeah, we see them with guns coming in and out. You're thinking like, that just ain't going to happen. And so they need to realize the downfall of things like that, and some unintended consequences are very bad. And like, just changing the subject for a second, we've been talking to some of the legal aid foster groups and stuff like that. As an unintended consequence, when they passed last year the sealing of records on a UD unless you prevail in that 30 days, which is almost impossible to prevail in 30 days unless the tenant drops dead or something, because the minute they file and put answers and stuff, you're going to be past that 30 days. But so what we're saying is that has really hurt tenants, because now as property owners, and especially I know at our company now, because almost the most important thing we wanted to know was, did you pay your last landlord? Because that's a really good idea if you're going to pay me. So but we know there are some circumstances where maybe it was justified, but since we can't get that information, then we're going to require more documentation, copies of bank stubs, canceled checks, and things like this. And unfortunately, in minority neighborhoods, it's unfortunate. A lot of people pay by money orders and things. They don't have checks, they don't have receipts and stuff. And it's like, oh, well, we're just not going to, we can't verify this, They said they paid in cash. And well, maybe you did, and that's good. But unless we can see a bank statement where we see there's been a check for $900 every first of the month, or you got a money order for $1,000 the first of every month, that we can assume was a rent payment or something like that. So so people are going to be out of units a lot longer. And the thing I say to a lot of our owners that have a vacant unit, think about one thing. You start to do a UD now, first thing they're going to file is an answer and request a jury trial. Most attorneys want a $7,500 deposit for a jury trial. And by the time you go through a jury trial, you're going to be up at $10,000 or $12,000. We just had one we just capped out at 20 grand. So you start to think, okay, well, I got a vacant apartment that's rented for $1,000. If it's vacant all year, it only cost me $12,000. If I went to eviction, I'm at $20,000. So you have to stop and think about how these things make sense. So you realize that you'd be better off holding an apartment off the market 2 or 3 months till you believe that you had a reasonable tenant, because the cost of eviction is just astronomical. And